What's going on, everyone? I got a quick deck list for you today. This is my Eldlich deck. I'm just gonna run through it quick, so I don't hold you up. And I'll just do quick explanations. Running two Lava Golem. Obviously, just clears a board. It's a good board breaker. If you're going second, this could be replaced with. I wouldn't really go Kaiju because that's one monster, but potentially like Raw Sphere mode, depending on the meta at the current time. If they put up a bunch of monsters, like a lot of decks do sometimes. Rosphere mode may be better than Lava Golem, but for now I'm just going with Lava Golem. I run two Golden Lords. You don't really want to see a second in your starting hand. You don't want to see any in your starting hand, to be honest, but depends on the meta, really. With the upcoming one, like Kashtira, and if Bestials come out in the future, you might want to run three if you're still running Eldlich. At that time, it's a really tough spot for Eldlich because Bestials can just banish them out of the grave, which is really tough. Three Lord of the Heavenly Prisons. Probably your best card in this deck, to be honest. It provides back row protection from destruction. Can special summon himself when you use one of your spells. When either of you use a spell or trap. I believe it's spell or trap, right? Yeah, so a set spell or trap. Okay, I want to make sure. And then you can set any card from your deck, basically any spell or trap from your deck, onto the field, and it's there until the next turn. If you don't use it by then, it can get banished. So you're going to want to use that. Almost always set Pot of Extrav just so you can get that extra draw power. You want to have that card advantage. I run two pots of Duality, two pots of Extrav. Pots of Duality is not a huge deal because you don't really special summon all that much. At least usually not on your turn. Usually you're special summoning on your opponent's turn. And again, I run two of each because you don't want to draw into another one, especially when it comes to Extrav. Extraving into another Extrav is like terrible. You hate to see it. So there's no need to run three Extravs. Definitely run two and run two Dualities. I don't think Prosperity's useful enough in this deck, if I'm honest. Sure, digging's great, but Duality lets you dig for three instead of six, and to me, that's good enough. And you want to have as much card advantage as possible, which is why Extrav, in my opinion, is better. Two Torrential Tributes is what I'm running right now. Just an amazing card. I think it's really downplayed a lot because it can completely wipe an entire field. So definitely really nice. I have a couple tech choices in here. One of my tech choices being Eradicator Epidemic Virus. Basically, the only way to actually use this in Eldlich is with Lord of the Heavenly Prison. So if you summon Lord and you set Eradicator Epidemic Virus, the next turn you contribute Lord, call spell or traps, and it can absolutely ruin an opponent. Let's say like Runic. It destroys them. They lose all their spells. So that's really why I run this. And also, I'll get later on another tech choice for against Runic. So I have two one-ofs specifically for the Runic matchup, and that is one of them. It's way better in Labyrinth. You can definitely cut this card if you don't want. If you don't want to plan for Runic or other either spell or trap based decks, that's perfectly fine. You can dump this for another let's say another floodgate because I don't run that much. And we'll get there in a minute. Two-dimensional barriers. Just an amazing card. Shuts down Despia completely. Shuts down Sword Soul completely. I mean, some of the major decks here just completely get shut down. So it's a huge, impactful card. Trap Trick. So Trap Trick's perfect. And you'll notice all my normal traps, I run at two. That way you can banish one to set one. So essentially Trap Trick gives you an extra two of any one of your normal spells or traps. That's why I'm running two-dimensional barrier, two Dogmatica, two Ice Dragons. It just makes the most sense because then you have four of all of them. But don't forget, this locks you into only using one trap after this. So if you're gonna do it, make sure it's your last trap you use. Number three, Elixir of Scarlet Sanguine. Three Elixir of Scarlet Sanguine. Just one of your best Eldritch cards, 100%. Let you special summon from deck or grave, and then you can banish it once on the turn you haven't used it yet to set a golden land spell or trap. You need to run this if you're running Eldritch, like obviously, and always run it at three. Like it is a three of 100%. You can also trap trick on this, by the way. You can trap trick into Scarlet Sanguine. Like I said, two Dogmatica punishments. You should usually send Entis or Wind Pegasus. If it's a really big monster, you can send your Lieb, but I wouldn't really recommend that. Ice Dragon's Prison gets you out of a lot of hairy spots. Some monsters can't be targeted, and this is non-targeting banishment, so that's huge. 3 solemn strikes, and you're probably wondering why 3, because it's not once per turn. And if you hold your solemn strikes for the right moment, it can absolutely decimate a play. So let's say you got an opponent who's gone through, 10 cards from their deck, just set up a board, and as soon as they summon their boss monster, whatever you solemn strike, they just wasted all that material. So that's huge. Solemn strike is just one of the better cards you have, to be honest. 2 anti-spell. I'm running this because of Runic, and it protects your back row for at least one turn. So if you go first, you toggle on your chain. If you toggle on the chain button, you can hit this in your standby phase on the opponent's turn. And that, other than quick play spells, that protects you from Feather Duster and Lightning Storm. So, if they have Twin Twisters or Cosmic, it doesn't protect you from that. And I have had that happen to me where they just Cosmic my anti-spell. But again, that kind of did what it was supposed to do. It protected my other cards. That's all this is here to do. It's here to slow them down and protect my other cards. Because we want to set the pace. That's how control decks want to control the battle. They want to set the pace, make it our game, not theirs. 2 skill drain. If we could run it at 3, I would. And the new ban list for April came out, and they hit skill drain and Gozen and rivalry to 1. So that's going to be changing. I'll show you what I'd replace this with here in a minute. But yeah, 2 skill drain. Just an amazing card. It just usually wins you a game. Let's be honest. It's amazing. Imperial Iron Wall, this is my other tech choice against Runic, and also against Exosisters. It completely shuts them down. They can't do anything if this is on the field. And you can set this off of Lord as well. So really, you just need 1. That's all you need. You got your pots to kind of maybe draw into it. Same thing with Eradicator. I mean, really, to me, Eradicator's a worse choice. Because Imperial Iron Wall, if you set it off of Lord, even if your Lord gets destroyed for some reason, this is still live, and when you activate it, it doesn't get banished off of Lord's effect on the next turn. It prevents all banishments. So that can protect you, but it does slow down your Eldlich engine, because obviously you can't banish your traps to set either Sanguines or Eldlichers or Golden Lance, so that kind of slows you down. But usually when I use this, it's because the deck I'm going against is a banishing deck, which slows them down more than me. So I run 2 Gozen. I would run 3 if I could, but it's getting moved to 1, so I will show you here in a second what I'd run instead of Gozen. Gozen's just an awesome card. It's better than Rivalry right now, at least. A lot of decks are running different attributes like Sprite, so it's just really good. Same thing with Sword Soul. I don't know about Branded. I think they run lights and darks, so it could hit them a little. Run 3 Hoquero and 2 Conquistador. I would flip these if I could. I would want to run 3 Conch, 2 Aquero, but obviously that's the ban list for some reason, because Eldlich for some reason is still a problem. Don't ask me why. We'll quickly run through the extra deck, and then I'll show you my choices that I go with if I, once these are gone, and if I didn't want to run Imperial Iron Wall or Eradicator Virus. So 3 Entis for your Dogmatic Punishment targets. You run 3 in case you banish a couple off a pot of extra if you don't want to lose them all. Because if you do, it really makes your Dogmatic Punishment a lot worse. Wind Pegasus at Ignister, same thing. Another punishment target. I'm thinking about removing it because it's a low attack, and it's definitely not as good as Entis. So that one might be going. Probably throw another Rail Cannon instead of that. Psyframe Lord Omega. This is another punishment target. It lets you recycle something in your graveyard. So let's say Skill Drain was destroyed or something, and I want to shuffle that back into the deck. I can send Psyframe Lord Omega, and he can shuffle that back in the deck and himself. So it just helps you recur some stuff if you really need something out of your graveyard. Constellar Pleiades, you can create him, or you can make him off of Conch and Aquero. These are both level 5 lights, so he's just a really good card to have on the back burner from your traps. Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max, just an amazing card. Your 2 Eldliches can go into it, your Lloyd can go into it, and it just burns for 1200. And this is actually an OTK play, so you'd go into, you use 2 of your level 10 monsters to go into Gustav Max, burn for 2000. Then you'd rank up to Lieb, and when you detach from him, he goes up to 6,000 attack. That's 8,000 attack. So that's why both those are there. It's an OTK engine, and obviously in my opinion, Gustav Max is better than Lieb. I barely ever go into Lieb, But like if you just need to burn for 2,000 or less, I mean, you win the game right there. Zeus, you can always rank up from either of these two or any of your Xyz into Zeus. Zeus is good. I never go into him though. You got your Link Spider and your Imduck. That's just to link off your Conch and Haquero so you can get your Eldlich engine running. Nightmare Phoenix, I really don't know why this is in here. I probably should remove this. Definitely add another Gustav Max instead of this. Vampire Sucker and Avenger Savior essentially do the same thing. They just link off your zombies. So like if Rivalry or something was on the field, or if you use Sanguine, it locks you into zombie monsters. It lets you link off your zombies into another zombie. So that's nice to have. And this also dumps Eldlich for you if you don't have Skill Drain on the field. Actually, I think it dumps for cost. So let me double check. Yeah, I think it dumps for cost. I'd have to double check on that, but so you might be able to send your Eldlich into the grave, even if Skill Drain's on the field. He just doesn't get his other effect. And then obviously the Lion and Light Charmer. You run a lot of lights. Your Eldliches are light. Your traps are light. So that just gets you off of those, and you can steal a powerful light monster from your opponent. So that's definitely a good card. Okay, so what would I run if these go to 2? There's a few options. So you can run 2 summon limit. That's always an important one. Again, this is kind of meta dependent. If there are a lot of combo decks running around, that's an amazing card to have. You could always run there can be only one. I don't even have it because I don't use it. So I don't believe this is going to 1. So that's a good one to have. It really locks him down, but it also kind of locks you down because you can't summon your traps. Like if you have Eldlich on the field, you can't really use these effects. So it's kind of unfortunate that it locks down your Eldlich as well. But again, you have Lord, you have Eldlich, so you have a couple options to go into, and all these floodgates lock out your opponent more than it does you, most likely. What else? You can run for the next meta. So when Tier Elements comes out, I might be investing in this. Soul Drain. It shuts off the banished and graveyard effects. It completely shuts them down. So that's a good one. There's a lot of graveyard decks right now, actually. We're talking the Shizu cards. So again, that would be a pretty effective card even in this current meta. So it would even stop Hugin. And basically all the runic cards, after they're destroyed, they have effects in the grave. That would stop it as well. So it's honestly not a bad card. So if I just move those back, I mean, you could always run. The floodgates are really based on the meta at hand. So like there's Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. You could always use that against, I think Tier Elements has a lot of darks. Obviously Despia has a lot of darks. I mean, dark is by and large the most powerful archetype or attribute in Yu-Gi-Oh! So Shadow Imprisoning Mirror is pretty powerful depending on the meta. And then obviously if you don't want to run these tech cards, you don't have to. Just do whatever you want there. But you could get rid of these two, and just if you wanted, you could add another Ice Dragon, another Punishment, another Tribute, any spell trap you like more, or you can run the good old Solemn Judgment. Run 2 Solemn Judgments if there's a lot of back row hate going on. Solemn Judgment's an excellent, it stops evenly matched, stops Lightning Storm, stops all this stuff. If for some reason you don't see Anti-Spell or Lord of the Heavenly Prison, it can protect you from Feather Duster, Lightning Storm, any of those. And then it can even stop evenly matched, which is a really killer card for Eldlich. So Solemn's definitely a good option. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm running right now. It's been working pretty good for me. It is unfortunate we're going to be losing Skill Drain and Gozen and putting them to 1. Same thing with Rivalry. That is super unfortunate. In the TCG, they're wide open, which I love. But yeah, so that's my current Eldlich list. If I update it, I'll probably update it during the next meta after Chill Elements comes out, and we'll see how it's changed. Most likely, I'll be running Soul Drain. I think Silent Graveyard. Let me check that one. Okay, so it's a quick play spell. You have to discard a card. I'm not a huge fan of that. Soul Drain's definitely better. Soul Drain is definitely better for us. But yeah, Silent Graveyard is an option. I wouldn't run it. You'll notice I don't run any hand traps. You don't really want to run hand traps in trap decks. It just inherently goes -1 Don't run infinite permanence in this. That's trash. Because you don't want anything that goes 1-for-1. You want cards that have larger effects. If you want to have card advantage, that's why Tribute's so good. If they load up their whole field with monsters and you tribute them away, they just wasted so many resources, and you only wasted one card. I mean, you could go +5, +5 on one card. That's enormous. Same thing with punishment. You use one card, destroy two of them. Destroy two of your opponents. Ice Dragon's Prison. You steal take away, banish two of your opponent's cards. You want the most bang for your buck in trap decks. That's why I don't run Compulse, which is a totally different story with Labyrinth, because they can recycle. So Labyrinth is a whole nother ballpark. I'm probably going to be getting into the Labyrinth here, since they are continuously hitting Eldlich. And it's unfortunate. It's not because of Eldlich. It's because of Runic Stun that they're hitting our floodgates. So Eldlich is definitely losing a lot of power in Master Duel. Definitely a lot stronger in the TCG, with basically all the floodgates maxed. So I will keep playing Eldlich because he's my golden boy in Master Duel. But when the new Labyrinth stuff comes out, I'll definitely be investing hard into that. And when that comes out, I'll have a deck list for that as well. Or I could just do one on Yugioh Omega if you guys wanted to see that. But yeah, that's what I have so far. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, or any advice, definitely leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. All right. Oh, also, don't forget to do all the things the YouTube likes. So like, sub, comment, do all that stuff. That'd be great. All right. Appreciate it. Thanks.